Civil War Trails program is a national, regional program that deals in Maryland, Delaware, West Virginia, Virginia, Tennessee. Tennessee has over 300 markers, and Williamson County has the most of any county in the state. And what that means is, when you come into Tennessee and you go to a rest area, there are brochures that will show you every Civil War Trail marker in the state, which will enable you, if you're a Civil War enthusiast, to travel around the state and read these markers. So there's a lot to this, a lot more than it looks. These markers installed and everything are about $4,000. And the Civil War Trails program, which is partially funded by the State Departments of Transportation, supplements it, and the round table came up with $1,200 matching. And this will be here and maintained by the Civil War Trails program, hopefully as long as we're around. I want to introduce two our living historians. This is Forrest Wade, my son, and this is Mike Hoover. We appreciate them coming out. These guys do a lot of Civil War historian and reenacting around the area. 150 years ago this week, December 15th and 16th in Nashville, on a snowy, wet time of the year, the Battle of Nashville took place. The Confederate Army of Tennessee under General John Bell Hood had been in the southern parts of Nashville for about 2 weeks following the Battle of Franklin. Nashville had been reinforced greatly during the last several weeks under General George Thomas. Ulysses S. Grant was getting frustrated with Thomas, wanting him to do something, and actually he was on his way to Nashville to fire General Thomas. However, Thomas was a step ahead of him. They attacked the Confederates in the lines about where Interstate 440 is. That would be the southern line the first day of the battle. The Confederates fell back to around Harding Place, Battery Lane on the second day, on the 16th. The Confederate left flank was around Shies Hill and Granny White Pike, if you know where that is. At that time, it was known as Compton's Hill. The Confederate line broke. It hinged back towards the south. The Confederate right held under Stephen D. Lee up around Overton High School. On the night of the 16th, the Confederate line on the left completely was shattered. They fell back this direction through the hills of Brentwood, back into Brentwood, and what became just a pell-mell attempt to escape capture. See, at that time of the war, you did not want to be captured because you would wind up in a place such as Johnson's Island or Camp Douglas. And those were not good places during that time in the Civil War. Another whole topic, but about 30,000 Confederates would die in northern prison camps, and about the same number would die in southern prison camps. So they didn't want to go there. The evening of December the 16th was a cold night. One man by the name of John Johnson, who was from Memphis and had ridden with Forrest a lot, happened to be in the Confederate infantry at the time, talked about being so fatigued that he gathered up leaves, snuggled up against a fence post, and went to sleep, only to be ridden over by a Federal patrol who never saw him. These were tough guys. That night, Stephen D. Lee, who was on the right flank, general on the right flank, Confederate general, had been ordered by General Hood to hold the rear. In other words, to protect the retreating Confederates as they fled south on Franklin Road. Franklin Road is one of the most fought over roads in American history, from Nashville to Columbia. During that time, there would be wreckage, horses, wagons, debris, all up and down the road. Hood was considered a rising star in the Confederate Army. As a matter of fact, he had been talked about being the person who would lead the Confederate Army of Tennessee when General Hood was appointed. So Stephen D. Lee was well regarded. He did survive the war and became the president of Mississippi State later on. So if we've got any Mississippi State people here, he was one of your guys. Sorry, Kelly, not Ole Miss.